branding your school. I'm gonna try to make this quick. Branding your school, taking some steps to take control of that story that's being told about your school, and what can you do about that? Here's what prompted this. I got a question on Yammer. That's our statewide, um, enterprise level social media network for educators. I got a question on there about having a school Twitter account and what to post or what not to post. I honestly I can't remember the specifics of the question, but in reference to that, you don't really need to have a school Twitter account. There's no I can't find a real advantage, but there's not a disadvantage either, and I'll explain why. And a lot of schools go in that direction of having a school Twitter account or school Instagram and a school Facebook page. So we'll talk about those quickly. School Twitter account, not as much of a need because what's probably more effective is, what's probably more effective is a unified hashtag that your school can promote and tell that story across. So a unique hashtag is also, I should include, have a unique hashtag. That's something that plagued our school. Used Viking Pride, hashtag Viking Pride on Twitter for a while, and it's by far not unique. Just search it yourself. But Minnesota Vikings fans use it. There's a ton of other Viking schools all across the country that use hashtag Viking Pride. So we switched and went to RIHS Pride for Ripley High School. But choose a unique hashtag and get some activity out there. And then as far as having a school Twitter account, in that case, you don't really need it. The principal could post things across the hashtag. Teachers can post things across the hashtag. And doing it that way also, I think, promotes the this idea of sharing and educators collaborating and telling their story, knocking down the walls of the classrooms and providing more clarity or transparency with the community about what's going on. Whereas if you go the route of a school Twitter account, it kind of sends a message to the staff that you don't need to post anything because I'm just going to post it out of the school account. Um, and the activity across the hashtag is important. I'll get there in a second. So Instagram collates using a hashtag now as well, and you could collect activity through a hashtag on Instagram. Though, if you wanted to have a school account on Instagram, I may slightly see maybe more of a benefit in that media channel of having an account. But obviously, that channel is really frequented more by students at this point than it is parents or other stakeholders. So then let's go to Facebook, because Facebook is where most parents, community members frequent Facebook. So we created a school Facebook page. It's not an account that you friend. It's just a page, and I think Facebook users understand that now, that terminology. It's just a page that you like, and then that activity across that page shows up on, that anyone who's liked the page, now that activity will show up on your newsfeed. The way we set the page up was there's a main timeline, but there's also a visitor posts timeline that's separate from the main timeline. In fact, looking at our page from desktop view, you have to click a link and then open the visitor posts. They're not even visible on the main page. On a mobile app, the visitor posts are slightly visible. I think the top couple posts you can see, but here's why we wanted to separate those. We wanted the main timeline just to be the things that we felt we needed to push out, and the only thing that shows up there is Ripley High School. We have probably 8 now people with administrative privileges that can post using that Ripley High privilege. But we just wanted that timeline to be full of that stuff. We didn't want to cut off two-way communication, though. I really think it's important that you allow that and you almost encourage it, promote it. But here's what we didn't want on the timeline. A parent saying, what time does soccer practice end tonight? We don't want that on the main timeline. We want parents to ask those things, but now they go in a separate column called visitor posts. The Ripley High administrators can reshare posts on the visitor posts so they can show up on the timeline if we feel that that's necessary. So one thing we just did recently was we encouraged the rest of the staff to make posts to that page. Even though they're going to show up as visitor posts, we can reshare them and it shows up with as their name and everything. So that's good, because this effort of telling the story and branding the school, it's a team effort. It's not something that one or two people need to take on themselves. Otherwise, it's going to be a full-time job, and you're not going to get very much out. You're probably going to get inundated with emails from other people in the building saying, post this or post that, and can you put this out there on Friday? Don't put it out there before. And you get some of those things, and you just say, why don't you do it yourself? With a hashtag, they can do it themselves. Administrative privileges on the Facebook page, I don't think that needs to be limited to one or two people. Put as many of the staff on there as you can, because you want that story to get out, and you want to promote that that idea of sharing and transparency, collaboration with the staff. So all those things promote that rather than limit or hinder it. So the icing on the cake, as I say, is this component of Storify. And let me make this clear. The Storify component I got from Dwight Carter. He's the principal of New Albany High School over in Ohio. And then the other stuff, honestly, I've learned almost exclusively entirely from Twitter, from guys like Tony Sinanis, the principal at Contiag Elementary up in New York, or Joe Sanfilippo. He's a superintendent at Falls City in Minnesota, I believe. Those two guys are probably the branding gurus. They wrote a book on it, published by Quorum Press. The Educator or Connected Educator series, I think, is what that's called. It's no doubt a good book. But there's a free webinar on the website that is run by the Alliance for Excellence in Education. There's a free webinar there. You can watch it anytime. But I've watched it. It's Tony Sinanis and Joe Sanfilippo talking about this topic of branding your school and what you can do. So that's sort of what I'm sharing. So the Storify component works like this. Dwight does it at the end of every week, and I think that's good practice. Storify literally makes stories out of things that have been posted on social media. So it works like this. Storify will actually collect all the tweets under a particular hashtag, so it could be your school hashtag. It pulls them very quickly, automatically pulls them, and puts them in a nice layout, what they call a story. It will also pull activity from Instagram over the same hashtag and a number of other services, but we just use Twitter and Instagram. It'll pull those tweets or Instagrams and put them in a nice layout, accessible with a link now. What you can do with a Storify is you can send that link out to your community through the Facebook page. You could send it through Remind if you use Remind for your school, which is also a good practice. You could send it on some type of school messenger system or an email system. Basically put it out there as many times as you can, and it's accessible with a link. So all the community has to do is click the link, and then they get this nice layout of this story of all the activity that occurred that week. So they don't even have to frequent social media channels like Twitter or Instagram. They can still receive those messages at the end of each week if you Storify those things and then send that link out. And that's been really, I think, something positive for Dwight's school. We've only done one, to be honest with you. That as of yesterday, that Storify had 128 views, which I think is pretty good for the first time. And we only put it out on the school Facebook page. It goes out under the hashtag too, I should say. But I'm not aware that our principal sent it on the Remind account. That's just his decision. So if you have any questions, contact me at mr_oldfield on Twitter. You can leave a message in the video, leave a comment in the video. If you're from West Virginia, you want to contact me on Yammer, that's fine. But lots you can do in the area of branding your school. Be consistent with the names too, something we did. Don't mix it up. Your Facebook link should be facebook.com/ whatever that hashtag is. Make it all consistent so it's easy to find. Last piece is I really encourage you to create business cards. Easy to create. Vistaprint has a great deal. You get 500 or 1,000, 2,000 for a decent price. Print the business cards with that information, the hashtag, the facebook.com/ link, You could put your remind information on there. Those three things would be adequate to fill up a business card with your school emblem on there, and then put those business cards out at gas stations, Walmart, grocery stores, places that people frequent. It's basketball season right now in West Virginia, so we could put them at the table as people come in to pay and get their ticket for the game. But get those out to the community, and that'd be an easy visual way for people to see that and go to the link, access those things. That's just an idea. The back of the business card, if you'd like, you could put a QR code that goes straight to the Facebook page or straight to the hashtag if you want people to visit that way. So that's the last thing I wanted to share. We're 11 minutes in. This is way too long. Thank you. Bye-bye.